Greetings everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm well, guys. I'm surviving. Hope you guys are surviving as well. Okay, guys, on this video, we're going to be dealing with the limitations on the right to strike, right? Remember the previous video, we dealt with the right to strike. So now going to be dealing with the limitations on the right to strike or recourse to lockout, right? As you guys might know, each and every right has got its, what to call, every right is not absolute, it's got its own limitations, right? So now I'm going to be dealing with the limitations on the right to strike or recourse to lockout. Okay, let's get to it, guys. Number one, no person may take part in a strike or a lockout in any conduct. No person may take part in a strike or a lockout or in any conduct in contemplation or furtherance of a strike or a lockout if A, that person is bound by a collective agreement that prohibits a strike or lockout in respect of the issue in dispute, right? B, no person that is bound by an agreement that requires the issue in dispute to be referred to arbitration, right? That's B, meaning no person may take part in a strike or a lockout or in any conduct in contemplation of furtherance of a strike or a lockout if that person is bound by an agreement that requires the issue in dispute to be referred to arbitration, right? C, no person may take part in a strike or a lockout or in any conduct in contemplation or furtherance of a strike or a lockout if the issue in dispute is one that a party has the right to refer to arbitration or to the labor court in terms of this act. D, no person may take part in a strike or a lockout or in any conduct in contemplation of furtherance of a strike or a lockout if that person is engaged in one, an essential service, or two, a maintenance service, right? Just as a side note, essential services, agreed minimum services, and maintenance services are regulated in section 71 to 75 of this act, which is the Labor Relations Act, right? As the time goes on, later this year we'll get to them, right? Okay, let's go back. 2A, despite section 65 subsection 1C, a person may take part in a strike or a lockout or in any conduct in contemplation or in furtherance of a strike or lockout if the issue in dispute is about any matter dealt with in section 12 to 15. B, if the registered trade union has given notice of a proposed strike in terms of section 64 subsection 1 in respect of an issue in dispute referred to in paragraph A, it may not exercise the right to refer the dispute to arbitration in terms of section 21 for a period of 12 months from the date of notice, right? 3, subject to a collective agreement, no person may take part in a strike or a lockout or in any conduct in contemplation or furtherance of a strike or lockout if that person is bound, 1, by an arbitration award or collective agreement that regulates the issue in dispute. 2, if that person is bound by any determination made in terms of section 44 by the minister that regulates the issue in dispute, or B, any determination made in terms of the Wage Act and that regulates the issue in dispute during the first year of that determination. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. That is the sweet and short of it, our delimitations on the right to strike. As I've already made it clear that each and every right has got limitations that are placed on that particular right. Meaning these are the conditions that you need to comply with, you need to satisfy before you can fully exercise that particular right, right? Meaning you need to meet these conditions before you can exercise this right. Failure to meet those conditions or to satisfy those conditions, it means that your right to strike or to industrial action will not be lawful, will not be protected. That's what we call protected industrial action or protected strike. If you've not met these particular conditions, it means your action is unlawful, it's illegal. Therefore, this act, the Labor Relations Act, cannot protect you in terms when it comes to dismissals or whatever consequences that might follow your action, right? So it's very important to ensure that before you embark on industrial action or strike, you meet these requirements, these conditions, you satisfy these conditions, right? Then you know the law covers you, right? As I've already said, each and every right, there are limitations that are placed on each and every right. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and thank you very much, guys, for supporting the channel and for subscribing to the channel. If you've not yet subscribed, please do subscribe on the channel. At the bottom of the video, there's a subscribe option. Please do click on it, and please do like the video as well, and please share it on your social media platforms to ensure that it reaches a wider audience, and this information reaches as wide people as it can, to ensure that people are empowered with the necessary knowledge and information. Thank you, Ma Africa. Makhanya.